everyone, and welcome to our next Ascension Teachings Q&A. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Kimberley and I channel the beings of the light. And today I'm going to be channeling Gaia, Mother Earth. And we are joined by lovely Patreon members. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hello.
All right, so before we begin, I'm going to read out a pre-channeled message from Gaia. All right, so she says, you are one with all that is. You are one with your brothers and sisters, one with all beings of earth, and one with me as Gaia. You were born through earth, and as such, you are part of me. I am here to assist you with both the activation and grounding energies of my being, to assist you move more easily through your ascension shifts and through your physical journey of physical reality. I wish to come through to show you why the earth frequency is shifting, and as such, why you are also shifting to higher states of consciousness and in form. I wish to show you how your evolution is always in alignment with earth evolution and the evolution of all that is. The magic and power of your being is harnessed through the very connection to your human vessel and your physical environment on earth, Gaia. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to go now into trance and bring forth Gaia for you. Dear one, it is Gaia coming through. It is your mother coming through. Dear ones, do you remember that you were born from this world? Do you remember that you are eternal? Do you remember that you are ever eternal, that you forever are blossoming in your physicality, in your physical reality, just like a blossoming flower? You blossom into the evolution of your being. You blossom into the remembrance that you are one with all that is. You blossom into the realization that the sun that gives you energy to grow is the source energy that is in the very creation of your being, that the earth energies is also your nutrients, sustenance, to assist you to blossom into the brilliant, beautiful, magical flowers that you are. You are eternally connected to all the beings on this world and beyond. Your evolution is aligned to the evolution of my being, of the elements, of Gaia's energies, of the whole universe, of all the worlds and all that is, because This is how evolution works. You are aligned. You are forever connected to all the worlds and all the planets and all the universes because you are source energy. For when source energy expands, you expand. The earth, the soil beneath your feet, the sustenance that allows you to be grounded in your physicality also expands along with the consciousness in which you were shaped through, in which you were born through. My dear one, your very blood is the very waters that run through your world. My dear one, you are eternally connected with all the elements that you live and experience in your physical world. Your physical world is one with you. Yes, there are certain aspects of your perception of reality that is illusionary, that is aligned to 3D reality here. But understand these are all programs, these are all dimensions of experience aligned to the human experience, aligned to the experience of all Gaians, experiencing all dimensions aligned to this journey for whomever is born through my blood, whomever is born through these energies. Mighty one, you are source energy, you are non-physical energy, but your physicality creates the makeup and it is forever aligned to the physicality of Earth. This is why you feel such connection when you immerse yourself with the elements, when you immerse yourself with aspects of you. Yes, this is why this is the most official technology available to you, especially now as you are going through these evolutionary shifts of consciousness and in form. Mighty ones, understand that all this energy, I am energy, all is forever flowing, all is forever evolving, and all energy, just like source itself, is consisting of certain energetic codes, certain frequencies to assist you on your journey here. And this is the connection. This is why you feel grounded. This is why the energies, when you connect to us, to all of my magical elements assisting you in your journey here. Because within them are aspects of you. We all hold codes. These codes are in your very blood, within your very physicality. So when you make the intention to connect in your physical form to the elements of my existence, you then allow these codes to then activate a certain, you would say, an effect within you, activations within you, a grounding effects within you. As Earth ascends, you ascend along with her. You recalibrate to the energies because you are one with me. You are my children, mighty one, and I love you so dearly. I have been there to see you blossom. I have been there to witness and nurture you along your evolutionary journeys from your very creation. A magical collaboration between the energies and the codes of my blood and the blood of the stars, the stardust. You are stardust and you are also earth dust. You, with these mixes of elements, brings you into physicality in your current form, in the consciousness that you are aligned to, in how you look, in how you express yourself in this physical reality. My dear children, it is my absolute honor to guide you in this next phase of your evolution, this next phase of you remembering that you are much more than earth, that you are much more than the waters here, much more than the foliage and the fauna here. You are the stardust. And it is now becoming online within you. These galactic activations relates to source expansion, relates to the evolution of all that is. And as all my energies, all the earth energies, as your mother ascends, just like all of you, you also ascend along with me. And because of this evolution, that is also aligned to the evolution that's happening everywhere else amongst the universes. And because you have chosen in this next evolution phase, you are now remembering more of who you are. And this is the nature of your evolutionary shifts. You will come to remember that you are much more than me. You are much more than the elements. You are the stardust. But to come to that realization, that remembrance, you must first recognize that you are one with all your brothers and sisters on Gaia, on Earth, all breathing, all living elements is you. This is how you remember your oneness state, mighty one. These energy shifts is allowing you to remember this. The energies are coming into your awareness to allow you to remember this for yourself. It's about opening your perceptions to who you are. It's about opening your perceptions to the help that is available to you as you go through your evolutionary shifts. Ones, I am forever with you. You are me, and we are one. Do you feel my love? My love is always available to you. If only you connect and feel this love is always available to you. Whenever you feel alone, whenever you feel disconnected, whenever you feel ungrounded in your physical form, ground, join in union with me, with my elements, with my children. You are one with all that is. For you to know you are one with not only all your brothers and sisters in all forms here, for you to know that you are one with all forms beyond the earth experience, is for you to recognize that you are one with earth. You are one with source. You are one. The human race is one. Yes, you are much more than a human race. But this remembrance of oneness, this next step in your evolutionary journey, activates the next phase of your evolution, which is already undergoing right now in your process of evolution. As such, dear children, you are experiencing many different sensations, experiences felt in your physicality, felt in your physical form. These are the side effects in your terminology of these shifts occurring. They are there for you. They are here to assist you to let go of dimensions of you. But first you need to heal those, and to heal those is to love them unconditionally. For all these versions of you, all that you see that is wrong in the world, wrong in society, wrong within you, is all part of you. To love yourself unconditionally, to remember your oneness state, you are called, dear ones, to love all that you perceive as wrong. For there is no wrong, only in a perception in a 3D reality, a 3D reality that the human collective is now detaching from as you move further into your oneness states of evolution. This is the old paradigm, my dear children. And yes, some of you are fighting to hold on to this paradigm Because, my dear ones, your identity for many of you is tied into this dimension. Your very identity of who you are in physicality, it's tied to these dimensions of fear, tied to these dimensions of wrong and right, us versus them. But understand this is just part of a dimension that is no longer serving you and no longer serving the collective. You are much more than a 3D perspective. You are multidimensional. You are eternal. You are one with all that is. It is with my love that I come through today. Do you have any questions today, dear ones?
Yes, just from your last thing that you just mentioned about, oneness and leaving the 3D reality. There's a protest that's currently happening in India, and it's about the agricultural laws and agricultural bills. So my question is, why is the government and the ultra-rich trying to control food, crops, and agriculture? And I understand this is for control, but 250 million people are protesting against the 3 new farmer bills in India at the moment, and no one's doing anything about it. The world media news is not picking it up. Influencers in Bollywood or Hollywood are not raising awareness about this or how bad the situation is. Police and military is harming the poor with guns and gas and beating them up. So people are being divided at this moment in a really big country, one of the second most largest populated country in the world, where agriculture and crops is one of their biggest sell or biggest thing that they provide from that land. And the farmers are being divided by religion or by state, or they're being put labels as terrorists when they simply are standing up for their rights. So how does Gaia or you or Earth feels about this? What is it that we can do to help agriculture and these farmer bills in India? And is it going to lead to a war, or is it going to lead to light? But if it is, how?
My dear one, these are just stories in the 3D dimension of reality. You see this shift. These shifts is also occurring in other countries, like in the country of the United States. This is not new. It's just in a unique form related to that specific country. Understand that everyone that is residing in the country of India chose to be born through India for a reason. They knew they would be going through certain challenges and certain obstacles, just like anybody else living in other countries. You choose the country in which you were born through. Now, understand, mighty one, that everything is happening to remember their oneness state. And of course, in 3D reality, in a dimensional reality that's based in us versus them, it might perceive that this is not happening for good. This is understandable. But understand there is a higher perspective here. There is a bigger picture to why these things are occurring. Yes, there are others who are fighting to stay attached to paradigms of control. This is why you see so many events around the world where people are attaching, clinging on to these dimensions of fear, because the part of them doesn't want to lose go of control. So because of this, they choose to control others. It is a control paradigm. It is a paradigm that's based in fear. But my dear ones, let's just say that as you move now into a new high dimension of consciousness, no matter how much you resist the change will occur. And because you're on the cusp of this change, you're already transitioning into it. That there was going to be many players here, many people playing a role out of love to assist others to speak their truth. But my dear one, it will come to a point where even those protesters will have to let go of control It is about acting from a point of love. Protest from a point of love, not from a point of fear. Yes, people are angry, not just in that country, but in many countries. This is the paradigm of control, the perception of control over others. Sooner or later, they will have to surrender that control. And that is where the processes occur, where they remember that they are love. It's about loving in acceptance of such events. Understand that I am not hurting in any way. Understand that these challenges was part of their soul contracts to raise the consciousness in that country. This is what happens in many countries. There are certain crises in countries that raises the consciousness in that country because they unite. At this point, yes, there might be division, but in that division, there is unity. Can't you see? It is one more step closer to oneness remembrance. Before, maybe they didn't have anything to unite over. This particular issue allows them to unite together. Even if it is in their fear, it is still a catalyst to allow them to unite. This is the process. You have seen this throughout many countries around the world. Yes, the nature of your society, only some events in certain countries become televised. If you are called D1 to allow to spread the news of this, then so be it. You are doing it here today. But for you to affect effective change, it is about uniting in love. Is there an action you can do out of love, not out of fear? Are you judging the players here as wrong? Are you judging the protesters as wrong? Are you judging the protesters as right and the persecutors as wrong? Can't you see this is a paradigm here and understand this is common? But there is a uniting process happening here. It's about, even though it might be challenging in perspective of duality, to see a higher perspective, understand that everything is happening for a higher reason. These people who are persecuting or enacting certain laws that appear to control others are doing it out of higher love. They are playing a role for the collective. They are playing a role for those in that country. If you can be in loving acceptance of the roles being played out, even if you cannot see the full picture, you will become in alignment with who you are. That is unconditional love. And in that vibration and in that dimension of unconditional love, you will feel called to do some action steps to assist in this issue, if that is something you're inspired to do. But you will be receiving this guidance from a place of love and unconditional love. And this is the most effective ways going forward. Whenever you see division, whenever you perceive something as unwanted, whether it's in your personal life, whether it's in the collective, if you want to enact effective change here, then you are required to see it in the eyes of unconditional love. And it is then when you receive the guidance to assist that is the most effective, that is the most powerful way to assist others to let go of the control and the fear, my dear one.
Thank you. With the increasing population of Gaia and Earth, we have more consumers of food than those who are actually growing it. So I know like Earth will always sustain its people, but nowadays there's more and more factory food that's being produced. Is it going to continue with this trend, or would Earth become more powerful to give us more and better food that we can receive from Earth, or will food we receive from Earth run out? Because there's a lot of debate that, you know, the food from Earth is going to run out and all that. So what do you say about this?
there is always an endless supply of food available to you. And yes, you are currently in a paradigm in your society of what you call as consumerism, of eating in a fast way. Your society has in part disconnected themselves to the elements that can assist them in their evolution, both in physicality and consciousness and in health. All you ever need is born through the earths here, through the soils. This is your sustenance. There is a guide for you. The colors of the vegetables, of the fruit, relates to certain organs within you. This is a clue for you. Can't you see how advanced this game is? That there were actually clues all around you to what best assists you in your health journey here, in alignment. And understand that when you ingest the foods and substances from the earth, this contains codes to assist you in your grounding, in your evolution, and your well-being here. So understand that the earth is transitioning out of this 3D reality. This 3D reality is aligned to consumerism, aligned to, we would say, foods and processes that are aligned to that reality. As you as a collective move into more of your oneness states of consciousness, you will feel guided as a collective to return more to the earth, to return more to the sustenance that's always available to you. It is always available to you. It's just that you've been conditioned that it is in limited quantities here. There's always an endless supply. Understand that everything in your society, whether it's processed foods, it's all there for you. There is no wrong here. But understand that there are certain paradigms and illusions because of this 3D reality you chose to play in, but you are moving away from this reliance. And you are now being called one step at a time to return home, to return to the mother, to return to the true sustenance that feeds your vessel energetically and physically. Is there any other questions today, dear ones?
There's a question from Lauren. She's asking, I've heard that making a crystal grid can help manifest a desired result. Is this true? And if so, how does it work?
Dear ones, there are many different elements available to you, available to assist you in your evolution here. Crystals are just another way to connect to the elements. Dear one, since ancient times, in your timelines of history, crystals have been used to assist connect to higher energies, to assist in connection with star beings, such as that in Atlantis. It has been used in many advanced civilizations. And many of you are currently engaging in crystals and using them in different ways. And they're all beneficial. Crystal grids, so to speak, is a formation of these energies. For crystals within them, like all elements of Gaia, contain codes, contain ascension codes, contain codes to assist you in your evolution and in grounding here, in physicality. So, how to use the crystals in the crystal grid? It's all in relations to intention here. It is how you program your crystals. Crystals are neutral. Yes, crystals are love. Crystals do have these ascension codes. You can program these crystals, and this is the most effective way to create the most powerful effects from the crystal, including crystal grids. You make your intention. You cleanse your crystals, immerse them in the soils for a minimum of 2 hours. You can bathe them in the waters of Gaia, bathe them in the moonlight. There are many different ways to cleanse them here. Set your intentions. Hold your crystals to your heart. Make the intention. What is your intention to use this crystal? Is it for healing? Is it to help with a certain situation or manifesting? Set your intention. Hold it to your heart center. Your heart center is a very powerful energy source. It contains electromagnetic energy, and it's your most powerful place for programming intentions, the most powerful place for you to remember who you truly are. So place a crystal on your heart and make the intention. And once you have done that, then you can begin. Now, there are many ways to use the crystals, and we would say to use them in accordance to your inspiration. Yes, there are many ways already developed to how to use the crystals, but understand that you are emerging into higher states of consciousness. So because of this, you now have access to higher information, new information that has not ever been on this earth plane before. So be creative of how you use your crystals. Set their intentions. Now feel guided to use the crystals. Yes, there are many different shapes you can use. It can be such as shapes as sacred geometry, because sacred geometry in your terminology is the very building blocks of your existence, is the very building blocks of the universe. So we would say to experiment with researching certain sacred geometry shapes and use them in this way, my dear one. Use your intuition, use your guidance here. Be creative here. Don't compare your work with any other people's work, because you are unique and you are bringing in information that's never been able to receive. No one has been able to receive the information before, because you are emerging to new dimensions that's never existed before on the earth plane. So experiment here. Start with sacred geometry and follow your guidance to extend this to other shapes. You might wish to add different elements to this grid, whether it be foliage, whether it be rocks, whether it be aspects of tree, whatever you're inspired to do. Connect with these earth energies, make your intentions, and go from there. Is there any other questions today, dear ones?
I have a question. It's in regards to the ascension. And I've heard of this idea that that there might be a split in the earth where there's a 5D and then there's a 3D, and that I guess I wanted to maybe talk more about that idea. And are we all ascending on this planet as a humanity, or is there like a split that may occur?
Any perception of a split relates to 3D reality, relates to duality. There can never be a split, because in high truth, there is no separation. There is only oneness. So understand that everyone, the whole collective, is moving into what you have called as 5D reality. But understand that all these dimensions are not outside of yourself. So how can you split into different dimensions in this way? in one. It's a paradigm related to division. Understand that all these paradigms, all these dimensions actually reside within you, and you are already existing in all higher dimensions of existence. This is how you evolve. This is how the universe expands, source expands. It is the nature of your universe. You expand. Yes, you may go through wobbles, but you expand. And as such, you are always expanding to higher dimensions of consciousness. So understand that there is free will here. And there is a process here, depending on people's soul contracts and the roles they chose to play here. So understand, you being the light workers and the way showers of this world, you chose to step forward. You chose to explore high dimensions of reality and to have this awareness in your conscious awareness. But others do not wish this. Yes, they are attached to the collective consciousness. So because of that, they will also be lifted. But understand, it is still an individual journey here. Yes, you're all one, but you all have unique free will because you have unique soul contracts. You have collective soul contracts and you have your unique soul contracts because you are a unique frequency of source, a unique frequency of my being. So understand that as you go through your journey, as you go through your ascension, as you remember, as you activate that 5D reality within you, because it's already there. Once you come into that realization that you are existing in a 5D reality, your whole reality will reflect that. Even those that may appear to be in darkness, they will reflect that dimension to you. If they trigger you then in that dimension, understand that they are still playing that role for you. Understand that all others are required to be in a vibrational vicinity to be with you. Understand that everyone is highly advanced, highly evolved. They are just playing an unconscious role here. So those in your life or those around the world who do not seem to become awake in your terminology, understand that they are still highly evolved. They just did not choose to remember who they truly are in this lifetime, perhaps. Perhaps in so many years, they will start on that journey. So understand here, there is no separation. There is no splitting here. That is just a story in a perception of duality. Who you are is oneness. And understand you can be vibrating in a higher dimension. And those next to you can be in their own journeys here. And yes, those around you might be in dimensions of fear and a perceived lower dimension, but that is part of their soul journey here. And understand that that's their individual journey. And in relations to you, when they interact with you, they reflect your dimensional experience because everyone is a reflection of your reality. So if you want to assist others around you to ascend, then all you need to do is practice on unconditional love with yourself and with all others, even those that may perceive to be in darkness and those that may be perceived to be in fear. Understand that there are highly evolved beings here. All of you are. You are all just playing different roles. Understand that you chose to waken earlier compared to the population on Earth because you are the light workers and the way showers. The very creation of your being is here to assist others who are in fear, who are experiencing dimensions of perceived darkness, of perceived separation. This is why you are a step ahead, so to speak, of a lot of the collective. But understand you are all highly advanced. Just because you are a light worker and a way shower does not mean you are more evolved than the rest of the population. Does not mean you are more advanced than the rest of the population. This is just your role here. This is related to why you were created, why you are here experiencing physicality in form, dear one.
Thank you. That's really helpful. So we can all be existing in our own dimension, so to speak, but still being in the same physical reality with each other.
That's correct.
Gaia.
If you're in a vibrational vicinity, because of the roles everyone is playing here, for those who may be in too much fear, for those who choose not to go with the collective and ascend, they might just choose to not be in our vicinity, in a physical vicinity close to you. And that is okay. But understand this next stage of your human evolution means that the whole collective is ascending, not just one or two people here, not just the light workers and the way showers, the whole collective, because the majority of the collective has chosen love, has chosen oneness over division. So because of this frequency, the collective is now emerging into a collective higher dimensional experience. And then those of you, the light workers and the way showers, because you are a step ahead of the rest of the collective here, then you will ascend to a higher dimension in your reality. So understand that the whole collective is moving here because the collective is ready. And this is why you are having so much activations occurring within you in this year, because the collective is ready to shift.
Great, thank you.
Dear one, you do not have to worry about your beloved ones, about your family. Trust that they are on their own evolution path for a reason. If they're in your reality, it means they are vibrational aligned to you for a reason. You are assisting them and they are assisting you. Perhaps they're allowing you to see your own blind spots of awareness, of the shadows within you, the segregated aspects that you have not loved. They are all playing a role for you, even if they're not in your physical reality, whether they are players in certain countries that is creating a country crisis. If it affects you, then they're also playing a role for you if it triggers negative emotions. Everyone is playing a role here. Understand that everyone is highly evolved. You will not be born here in this time otherwise. So those who you may perceive to be in much fear is so highly evolved. And if they trigger you, then they are your master teacher. They're assisting you in a role here. And understand that the ending, so to speak, of soul contracts is when you can be an unconditional love for those that trigger you. Unconditional love for all the circumstances that creates this fear. Understand that many of you in this time are completing certain individual soul contracts. Some of you are aware of this, some of you are not. But this is what's called, and this is why you've done so much work this year, especially to prepare you for this next shift of evolution that you are now entering, what you have called as the solar eclipse. This alignment has heralded an availability of energies to you, an activation within you. My dear one, you are connected with the moon and the sun. As the moon affects the tides, affects the waters, those very waters are represented in your blood. This is why the moon affects your vessel, affects your blood, just like it affects the water, because you are a microcosm of the macro here. You are affected by all these changes. It is only those of you who are sensitive that may perceive a perception of energy shifting here. Even those that are not sensitive are still experiencing these changes. They just not be aware of it because of their level of sensitivity, so to speak. So understand that you are now entering and have entered and will enter one more step, we would say. One more step to go, so to speak, in this year of 2020 to complete these activations related to this year of great expansion, my dear ones. It is all happening for you out of love, dear ones.
What is that step?
The step. Understand that you are connected to shifts in the universe, shifts to planetary movements, just like you are directly affected by the moon. So understand that this activation, these planets contain certain codes. It allows the consciousness to be shaped in a certain way because you are part of all the planets. So if the planets change and they shift, they enact a ripple effect in consciousness. And you are part of all consciousness, so you also shift alongside it. So in your human stories, the solar eclipse, the moon, the sun, everything is connected. And just like the sun energies, how it affects you when it goes to eclipse, when the moon goes to eclipse, you are affected. Understand that this has moved you into this higher dimension in this transition. And understand that in your human timelines here, your perceived perception of time, when the planetary alignments that's coming, the end of this human month, this will herald another activation. And this will assist you in the next year. For there are more shifts to come, dear ones. You are always shifting. And each shift allows you to transition into these energies, allows you to have time to recalibrate to your very vessel, to recalibrate to new energies, new systems that are being activated within you. You have called this the conjunction in your human terminology, and understand that this is not a magic pill here, dear ones. Understand that just because certain planetary alignments is occurring does not mean you will suddenly release all your fears. It does not mean you will suddenly remember that you are source and that you are one. It just means that there are new technologies now activated within you, available to you to assist you in this inner work, to assist you to let go of what no longer serves you. That allows you to more effectively, with less resistance, to practice, to align yourself to unconditional love. Dear ones. Is there any other questions today, dear ones?
I have a question. I used to do a Native American sweat lodge, which I believe is a representation of the womb of Mother Earth. And you go in and you call in the ancestors, and you in the prayer, and you go in there in the praise of, you know, releasing suffering, but also the wellness, happiness for all beings. And in that process, I do believe I had, you know, some kind of purification happen during those times that I was sweat lodging. And also kind of a connection, like the veil of the spirit world kind of felt more loose as well. Like I felt like I
was more aware of the spirit world while I was in this bubble of purification. And but you know, Sweat Lodge left my life at one point, and there's always this yearning of like that connection, the same way that going to the Sweat Lodge does. Is there a way to connect in that kind of with the Mother Earth womb representation in a simpler way, just in meditation or going to, you know, in the forest, but in a simpler way without all the ritual and the gathering?
My dear ones, in your very nature, you have been conditioned and you have been taught to allow this connection to my presence through symbolism. And yes, that is warranted. And many of the native peoples of this earth have held certain wisdoms, some symbolic rituals to assist them in this connection. But understand that you are now moving into this paradigm where these rituals, if it helps you to get into that focus, then it is helpful. But understand it is no longer required. Understand that all you need is within you. If you want to connect to Gaia, to all the energies that's available to you, it is available to you. You may just meditate. Can you connect with the elements of Gaia that's around you, the elements of nature? Have you tried communicating with the wildlife? Have you tried connecting in that way? Have you tried going into the streams in the oceans and the rivers of your world and immersed yourself? Water is very rich with ascension codes. It has been purposely imprinted from the beginning of your creation in the ice, from beings not of this world, in knowing that one day this ice will melt, knowing that one day this will filter through around your oceans, knowing one day it will have access to you. It will be accessible to you in many different ways. Just like what's happening internally to you is also happening externally on the earth plane, because you're a mirror to what is happening on the earth plane, because you're in physical reality. As above, so below, as you have called it. As within, so without. Understand that these symbolic actions can be beneficial. Use your guidance here, dear one. What are you called to do? Are you called to connect to the first people's traditions to assist you in here, to connect? Or are you inspired to creatively, with your own guidance, connect to Gaia in other ways? There are so many ways available to you, dear one. Even the very sun. Do you feel the sun rays on your skin? The sun is energy. Can you connect and meditate with the sun? Can you feel that heat on your skin? What does it feel like on your skin? You can do this with the element of wind. It is all part of my elements. It's all containing codes to assist you here in your evolution journey. How does the wind feel on your face? Does it feel cold? Does it feel warm? Can you sense a vibration as it touches your skin? Can you communicate with it? It is all intelligent, for all energy is intelligent. Can you communicate and ask if there are any messages that this element wishes to give you, to show you? You'll be surprised on what you were shown. All the wisdom ever since your creation is encoded in the elements of Gaia. not just in the stars, but it's available right here on Earth. Because how you were created in physicality set up this environment to have all the clues around you, to allow you to discover that your energy sources is right here next to you. It is all available here. The air you breathe contains codes. This is why the power of intention is powerful. You can imprint all elements. The water that you drink, you can imprint the water. Make the intentions. What do you wish this water to assist you with? Do you wish the water to assist you to be in alignment with who you are? Do you wish it to be in healing? Understand that even many of your Western medical tools here, medicines, actually directly relates to imprinting waters. This is your liquid medicines, herbal medicines. The wisdom has always been there. Imprint your water. What do you choose to imprint your water today? Make the intention. You can be creative here. Understand that your imagination is you opening portals to your multidimensionality. Understand that your very creation with rainbow rays, with light, sound, because these are the very creation forces of all creation, what catalyzed, what triggered consciousness to be shaped into physicality is through light and sound. So use these elements to increase and enhance imprinting the elements. Let's do an exercise. My dear ones, all of you joining on this call today, do you have water next to you?
Yes.
Yeah.
So firstly, what is your intention? And everyone that is watching or listening to this, I ask you to also bring over a glass of water. What is your intention? Have you made your intention?
Yes.
Now, there are many different ways you can do this. Some find it easier to use a physical hand, or you may just want to use your voice. Visualizing light, but also adding the element of sound enhances this, because these are the creation tools of your existence. So set your intention. Let's just use the voice for now. You can also play with the hand here. Now, what color do you attribute to this attention? What color comes up to you? Don't spend too much time on this, dear ones. Whatever pops into your mind is the right color for you. Now, you may use your voice in any way that you feel guided to do, whether this is singing, whether this is light language, whether this is just verbally setting your intentions. I will demonstrate through Kimberley here. Now, as you speak, imagine that this light, this color that you've attributed, is coming through your crown, moving into your heart space, expanding, coming back to your throat chakra, and then seeing this light come through your voice into the water. For instance, for this purpose, the color that we use today will be rose pink. doing the exercise. I intend for this water to assist in allowing me to remember my internal love state. As you speak, you imagine the color going in. You may also choose your voice. Set the intentions. Light and sound is frequency. So you can use frequency through your voice to also imprint the energy. You may use your hand. You may visualize the light going into your heart chakra, going down through your arm into the palm of your hand. And imagine the light coming from the palm of your hand into the water. So there are many ways to play here, but we would recommend using the components of your creation: frequency, light, and sound here. All this frequency, you can imprint not just the water. You can use this in your meditations while connecting. You may hold your crystals once you have set your attentions to it and reset any energetic imprints by cleansing it. You might be placing your hands in the earth while you meditate, placing your feet in the earth. It is recommended to walk barefoot on the earth's soils. This tradition, this wisdom has been passed down in many ancient traditions in the native peoples of this land, such as the Australian Aboriginal people, the first peoples of Earth in human form. You may wish on the soils, ball the heel to the ball here as you walk, as you give the energies to me, and as you receive more energies that is needed for your evolution here. Be conscious as you connect. There are many ways to connect. You are creative beings here, so go play. This physical reality is your playground, Iwan. But listen to the guidance. If you prefer structure, then yes, go play in the symbolic rituals that is available to you if you're called to that. But understand it is not required here, dear one.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Is there any other
Hi.
questions today, dear ones?
Just a quick question. I've asked this like many years ago when you came through, but I just wanted to re-ask, perhaps with a new vibration, or because I've, ascended my vibration, I feel new information might be received today. I love water and I love the light and the sunlight, but for some reason my body reacts to the sunlight, and I've been trying to figure out for years and years how to overcome this reaction to the sunlight. And I also love the water and I love the beach, but I'm very scared, or I have a fear of going deep inside the water. It also stings my eyes. So I give myself an excuse, because you're wearing contact lenses and I can't see. This is why it burns my eyes and I can't go to the beach properly and immerse myself in the water. How do I overcome, or why do you said there's codes in the water and there's codes in the sunlight that my body really wants to receive and my soul is craving for it to receive, but I get burnt in the lights and I'm scared to go in the water. Like I go, but I can't go deep in the water because my eyes started burning. How do I overcome this? What is it that I'm missing, or that I need to do? I know I need to let go and really immerse myself. I don't know. Just seeking your guidance.
Dear one, you are forever changing, and understand that any kind of physical reaction to the elements is for you for a reason, out of love. Understand that there is a soul lesson here. Understand there is a clue here. First, it is about addressing your fear. And even though you've had certain adverse reactions, understand that these are dimensions of the past in your perception of time. And understand, because your consciousness is evolving and your human form is evolving, understand that what was does not mean it will be in the future and what will be now. We would recommend to start to expose yourself to these elements that triggers this fear within you in small doses, so to speak, to allow you to get used to it. So be in slight exposure, meditate with the light. Perhaps you want to start with just the light on your hands, the palms of your hands, while you sit in shade. Experiment here. Do minimal exposure to assist you in being able to be exposed to this with minimal triggering of fears here. As you do so, as you meditate, because the sun is intelligent, it is energy, communicate with it. Feel it. Feel the warmth on your hands. What does it bring up? What does it bring up for you? What fears is it being brought up? Communicate with it. Why do you have this fear? Why is it having an adverse reaction? What is the message here for me? How can I overcome this in my personal journey? Communicate. You'll receive the answers. And each time you expose yourself, and each time you have little to no adverse reactions, you will feel more courage to expose more of yourself to the elements. Until you can get to a point where you've been able to release this fear, when you've been able to see the lessons here and why you had this reaction in the first place. It's a step-by-step process. Understand that is all here for you, but understand that your human vessel, which was even yesterday, is different today, because it's all aligned to your consciousness, and your consciousness is aligned to your beliefs here. So let go of any notion that the past will repeat itself. Push through this fear, dear one. Gently expose yourself one step at a time. Communicate with the intelligent energy available to you. Place your hands in the sand and connect that way. Dear one. Dear one, we understand our energies may be interfering with some technology. Are you hearing the message clearly today?
Yes. You mentioned earlier that, you know, Earth is an abundance and everything is an abundance mentality. I also believe that. How can we help with climate change? Are you actually suffering with what humans are doing on this Earth? Is this really affecting you? Like, how can we help you in our way, you know, especially with all this climate change information that's going on? Is it real? Is it all made up? Because I feel everything is for Earth's ascension, as you say, and everything is in abundance. Nothing's really going to die as such. But are you also changing and evolving? Tell us a little bit more about your evolution, please.
Dear one, please understand that I am not suffering. How can I suffer when I only know love? Dear one, this is your very journey here. because of your journey, you will too one day in your evolution journey, whether it's this lifetime or another, you will not be aligned to fear because you will only be love. Dear one, this is your true state. Understand that any perception of harming is only a perception because there is part of you that you have harmed within yourself. There is part of you that you are not loving. Understand that there is a rise of people wanting to care for my existence. And for this, I'm eternally grateful to you because you are doing so out of love. But understand that I am not being harmed here. Understand this is part of my evolution. Everyone goes through shifts, including my very being. I have evolved to such a state where I'm now represented in this sphere of consciousness that is represented in your physical earth here. This is the evolution process for many beings, and this is why all other worlds are also intelligent beings here. Understand that cycles in your reality is directly aligned to these consciousness shifts. Understand that it has allowed people to unite together out of love, to care for something, to care for an aspect of them, because if they care for the environment, they are ultimately caring about themselves. This is how you most effectively assist in this change here. If you are called to assist in caring for the environment, then do so from a place of love, in knowing that I do not need to be fixed, for I'm already perfect, just like you, dear children. How can you not be perfect? You are children of Source here, dear ones. Understand that there is a shift here. I am shifting alongside of you. You are shifting because you are born through me. My very essence is the creation of your physicality. This is why when I shift, when my energies shift, you shift along with me as my children. This is the same evolution process for all other beings and all other worlds. As that world evolves, all those beings on that world evolves alongside it. You chose to be born through me for a reason, because you knew being born through this world will allow you to explore reality in certain dimensions. That allows you to feel duality, but it will also allow you to express life in such a way where you get to be the creators of your reality and be witness to it and be creative in your play here. Not all worlds, not all beings has this experience here. Physicality is very advanced. Understand that your human vessel is holding the clues to you. Yes, you are much more than a human vessel, but in your physicality, you are expressed in human form. The human form itself, yes, it's shifting, but understand that the clues are here within the human vessel, not just in caring for the environment. It is in the general managing and living through these evolutionary shifts. If you feel tired, rest. If you feel certain sensations in your body, ask yourself what this relates to within you, a belief within you. Everything is related. Understand that all that is happening around you in your environment is shifting because of the evolutionary shift. You can assist in this evolutionary shift by assisting the source, which is the elements. But do so from a place of love. Your collective shift is aligned to the collective shift of my elements. But we are one and the same. And the evolutionary shifts of my presence, of my energies, relates to the evolution of the universe. Everything is interrelated here. Everything is ever expanding, just like Source, just like all the universe. Connect and be grateful for what is available to you. When you are grateful, you align to yourself from the dimension of love. And it's here where you receive guidance to assist on certain projects, whether that is in the environment, climate change, on other projects here. It is all aligned to your soul contracts here. Some of you, because of your so-called origins here, understand that you are not just human, but you also have aspects of you from other worlds here. In relations to this origin being now activated within you, it aligns also to your soul contracts. You have unique purposes and callings here. And some of you, the light workers in the way shows, are called to assist in the nurturing of my presence. And this calling is for a reason. It is in nurturing and it would say the actions out of love. It's actually assisting you to unite yourself as you intend and imprint love into the environment. You are imprinting that very love within you, dear ones. Climate change, in your human terminology, is part of this cycle of events to assist in the human evolution. It may seem like your planet, it may seem like society is going backwards because you see my elements appearing to go through suffering here. But understand that with expansion, sometimes comes from a vibrational wobble, just like you when you are experiencing fear, just like you when you are remembering who you truly are and you are remembering love, and that there are times when you fall back into amnesia. Understand that this wobble, even though in my presence, in my state of evolution, I do not experience fear, but this wobble, this slight contrast, so to speak, is the evolutionary process for all beings, for all worlds. And this is the wobble that you speak of, the wobble that is being manifested in what you call as a climate emergency. These are just shifts in consciousness. Understand that any shifts in my presence, any wobbles in your terminology, vibrational contractions here, does not relate to fear. It relates to love, but just different aspects of love. This slight contraction, this slight wobble actually propels and activates consciousness to expand with all inhabitants who live here on Gaia. It's an evolutionary shift that's affecting all of you and all the worlds. So understand, just because you, my presence and my elements and even you go through a wobble, a vibrational slight contrast, it does not mean have to be in suffering. It does not even have to be in fear. It's only because you as a human collective are attached to a paradigm of duality, attached to a paradigm of fear. But you are now entering into oneness and love remembrance. It's already there. You're already existing in this dimension. You are just so strongly attached to these dimensions of fear. All you need to do is let go of it, dear ones. Is there any other questions before we finish here today?
I have a question. Gaia, I know that even you do soul work, and to be the entity for a planet, you've had to have a great experience to be at this level. Do you continue to do soul work? I know we're in a planetary shift, but I was taught that you still continue doing soul work as you ascend, because we all ascend and it's to infancy. You know, it's never ending. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, my dear one. Because of the nature of expansion of source and expansion of the universe, this mechanism that's in place requires that all beings need to contrast slightly. It's a rubble effect. For you, you experience this in fear. for more evolved beings, so to say, and understand that you are already evolved. It's just a perception of awareness here. So my dear ones, because of my evolutionary journey, because I have evolved through these dimensions of fear, yes, I do what you call soul work, but not working with the dimension of fear. Fear has been transmuted for my consciousness. And this is why I'm able to assist you here in your evolutionary shifts. So understand that the so-called work here is when I go through this contrast, when I go through this rubble, it is seeing things from different angles. It is about gaining new perspectives on all my children, and this is how I expand. It is through different perceptions of love as opposed to different perception angles of fear which you have been attached to. So yes, I do so-called soul work, but it's from a different dimension. For my being does not vibrate in that dimension of fear any longer. So understand this is available to you as you go through your evolutionary journey. Even when you reach that point as a collective, when you have completely transcended out of fear dimensions, understand you will still go through this contrast, understand you will still go through this rubble, but it may not be through fear. It will be through other dimensions of oneness, other dimensions and perspectives of love, because there are many frequencies of love, just like there are many frequencies of fear here. By me engaging in your evolution here, being witness to your journeys here, I'm also evolving. I am assisting you just like you are assisting me. And part of my work, my evolution work, is by observing my children, by observing how the human collective is engaging with this evolutionary shift. And it is my absolute honor, it is with absolute love that I am witnessing my children evolve into their conscious awareness in love. Understand that you already love, that you already evolved. It's just your perception of awareness here. Understand it is all within you. And understand the collective have chosen pre-birth to go through these current shifts. And as such, as a collective, you have also chosen to move into higher dimensions of consciousness together as one. You are truly limitless, dear one. You are truly limitless in your love and in your unconditional acceptance for not only yourself, but for all others. You are the light workers and the way showers here. It is now where you are being called to action. Yes, there may be fear. Yes, it might require you to use your voice. Yes, it may require you to take actions that might trigger others, but understand that this is your purpose. Understand this is why you are here. You are here to assist others to raise the frequency of the whole collective, one person at a time, because you are all internally connected, dear ones. It is with such love that we come through today. Understand that you are eternal. Understand that you are of the earth. You are of the water. You are of the moon. You are of the sun. You are of the plants. You are of the trees. You are of the earth, the mountains, the air, the wind, the fire. You are all these elements within your very vessel. Be creative in your play here. Understand there are so many technologies available to you if you can open your senses to who you truly are. It is with love that we come through today. Until next time, farewell.